I find it interesting that China actually claimed the balloon in the first place. You know, when it comes to aerial ISR, uh, balloons kind of fill this interesting gap, but they're not quite there, right? So like it's not a mature enough technology to be reliable in the intelligence space. They're really good at some things. They're lowish detection. Usually you wouldn't see them. They have really long dwell times. They have great flexibility to swap out sensors. You know, if they need to put in any type of SIGINT package or GEOINT package, that's relatively easy to do. And then obviously you're going to get higher resolution from the relatively lower altitude than say a satellite. So so there are some good use cases there. In the United States, there's some companies that actually are doing this. One's named Worldview, and when I first saw this on the news, I thought, huh, maybe it's Worldview, you know. And they lost their balloon because when I was talking with them not too long ago, they were struggling with control because on these stratospheric balloons, they're very tough to control. You have to obviously you can only go up or down, and you're basically trying to ride the winds the right way, and they were struggling with that a lot because of the size of their payloads on there and everything. So that was my first thought. But if you're saying that China's now claimed that it's theirs, that's really interesting. Back to what you were saying about SAR. SAR in the military space, in the intelligence community space, it's always been this gap filler for us. It's been the thing that, hey, if we can't get a good EO image, RGB image, whatever you want to call it, we're gonna task SAR to go do that. And because it's always been that gap filler, it is 100% vital to any type of military intelligence or intelligence community mission. So I just think the demand for SAR on the government side, I think it's good enough for all these commercial companies that are trying to apply it in a commercial manner. I think there's plenty of space on the government side for them to come in and just keep selling it to the government. It's such a high demand thing for, especially right now, in our current missions, in places of the world where we have denied airspace, right? Traditionally, in the last 20 years or so, on this global war on terrorism, we've been able to fly aircraft wherever we want, right? We're in Afghanistan, we just go fly an aircraft there. But now our focus is more on what we call the near peer mission, and countries like China and Russia that we have always had strategic competition with, we need SAR. We need a lot of it. And as you know, those places in the world also have some issues with weather. You also mentioned SkyFi, which I think is an awesome company. It's really interesting. Obviously, democratizing any type of access to satellite imagery is great. There's also Sony has something called Starsphere, which I thought was neat. Basically, the way
Yeah, I
it's
saw that.
advertised,
I didn't
yeah,
know. I didn't know how seriously I should take it. Did you see some from some sources, that reliable sources, that's kind of what they want to do?
on Starsphere,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
So
for people who don't know, maybe you want to kind of quickly give a rundown of what it is.
yeah, so basically, it's just going to provide people a 10-minute window to have access to their camera on a satellite. So I don't know exactly what that means, and I've been looking into it and researching what exactly they mean 10-minute access. Are you're snapping images at that point? Are you um, who knows? But I will say that the I my first thought actually was in the video space, because if you look at um, a lot of the commercial satellite providers like Planet, for instance, they actually have decent video capability. Right now, they're more 90-second clip type deal as the satellites orbiting overhead. But I think that would be an interesting use case to have some type of access to full motion video from a satellite. I don't know how serious it is. It's obviously Sony, so it's not like they don't have the budget for it. They could do whatever they want, and obviously the technology behind their cameras is there. So
So I'm just on the website now, and I think that like it's super interesting, right? It says Starsphere aims to spread space perspectives in collaboration with creators and business partners. So normally, if this was like a B2B thing, like you'd arrive on the website like we provide solutions to basically everything. But I like this. the fact that they've included creators there sort of has that, okay, well, this is a B2C thing. It would be really interesting to know more about
TikTok
that.
in space, is that the idea?
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't know. I don't know, but it's an interesting choice of wording. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. If anybody out there listens to this or is listening now and knows more about it, I would love to hear more about that. I think it sounds super interesting.
All right.